to say goodbye.
It's hard to say I miss you.
The time of love
Is a gruesome cruise.
I need you now, dear Lord.
The impact of a loss depends on how it occurs. Sometimes it becomes so painful because of the manner of occurrence. To take us through this story today in our show, Painful Goodbyes, is Josh. And Josh, welcome to the show.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Our show today is entitled The Loss of a Father. And I just want to welcome you to the show. Who is Josh? Maybe you can briefly tell us who you are and the things that you love.
I'm Joshua Manuwa, born in Manicaland. I'm the fifth son of Thomas Chirombe Manuwa and Mavis Manuwa. I am a Christian. I'm a married man, married to Alice Manuwa, with 3 kids. My firstborn is a son, is Trevor, followed by Trecia, and then Tsehofatso, who was born in Botswana. I love soccer on the social part of it. When I'm at home, I usually listen to gospel music. I love the Swahili songs.
Okay.
Yeah, especially from the Central Africa. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much. You spoke about your mom. So how is your relationship with your mom?
She's very close to me. Right now, as I speak, she's 93 years old.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I went to see her the last month. She's staying at home. Sometimes she come and stay with me here, and I'm the closest to my mother.
Okay, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And then you had a relationship with your dad. How was it like? Maybe if you can describe how your relationship was like with your dad.
I was very close to my father as well, because I remember we used to go out hunting, and in 1976 he even taught me how to plow.
Okay.
Yes, so I was one of the closest child to him, because I'm the fifth born in our family.
Okay.
Yes.
Being the fifth, are you the last one?
I'm the middle one.
Middle one, okay.
Yeah, four on top, 4. And,
okay, so four in between, there are four.
Yes.
And then you are the middle one. So
yes.
You are the cream donut of the
I think so.
So it's very interesting. And now, what are the memorable events that you had with your dad that you still cherish even to this day?
I remember the other day we went out for hunting. It was around 7 o'clock in the evening.
Okay.
He had a gun, which he used to shoot when we go out for hunting. Yeah, he was putting on one of his favorite torches that he had.
Okay.
And then we just went out a few kilometers from home, and then he shot what do you call it, impala.
Okay.
Yes, then we went back home. So he was teaching me everything. Yes.
Okay. So that's one of the memorable events, including that hunting expedition. That
yes, and the plowing part of it. Yes.
Thank you very much for sharing your connection with your dad. We'll take a short break. After this, we'll hear more about Josh's story on losing his father. Welcome back to the second segment of the show, Painful Goodbyes. I'm with Josh, and we heard about his story on how close he was to his dad and how he took him to hunting expeditions. And this must have been a memorable time like you've shared before.
Yeah.
What other memorable times did you have besides going for hunting?
I remember it was in 1976. I was looking after the cattle, and then I lost them. My father beat me severely, and I ended up asking myself, is this my father? Why is he beating me to such an extent?
Yeah.
Because he wanted to go for plowing.
For plowing.
Yes.
Yeah. And that becomes a memorable event in the negative side.
Yes, yes.
Now, considering the closeness that you had, how long did it take for you to heal from the beating emotionally?
No, as I was still very young, it didn't take long.
It didn't take long.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So then came this fateful day when life then turned to be something else. We want to talk about that.
Yes.
Take us through that fateful time.
I want to relate a story that happened 47 years ago. That was on the 25th of December, 1976. We were celebrating Christmas. Me and my brother went to entertain ourselves at our brother's place. So as we were playing there, it was around 7 o'clock in the evening. We heard 3 gunshots. We didn't worry about that because it was during the war. So we continued playing, and then all of a sudden, the brother to my father came and said, "Your father has been shot." So we rushed back home, and we found him still talking. Before he was shot, he asked the people who wanted to kill him, he said, "Can I please pray for you?" He was a Christian. He was an Adventist. So they said, "You can pray." He knelt down and prayed. After praying, he asked them, "How should I sit before you shoot me?" And then they told him to sit looking at them. The guy who shot him had this, I think it's an AK-47, which had two legs in front there. Then he slept, and before he shot him, my sister, the firstborn memory, or Jane, she said, "I want to die with my father." Then they kicked her, and then she fell there. That's when they shot him 3 times. So after that, they took him into the house, and it was around 8 o'clock now. They took him inside the house.
So maybe before that, your sister wanted to die with your father. Thinking about how close you were close to your father.
Yes.
And it seems your sister was also close to your father.
Yes.
How did you manage to do that kind of a thing?
Yes, she was the firstborn, so she loved the father so very much. Because that year she was preparing to go to India for school. So she loved our father very much. Then when he was in the house, he started talking to us as his children. He said, as I'm dying, don't leave the faith. Because from birth, he taught us how to pray and how to love God. So he said, as I'm dying, all of you, my children, don't leave this faith. Don't abandon this faith. He also said to my mother, because by that year he had about 80 cattle. So he said to my mother, you have to sell each and every term. You sell the cattle so that you can take the kids to school. Yes, because we were 9 of us. So my mother used to sell every term. You sell 1 or 2 beasts so that you can pay the school fees for us. The following day, the very same people, the gorillas, those who had shot him, they came back and said, don't put this person into the house because he is a sellout. Take him out. So they took him out and put him on the veranda. The most painful part of it is that it was rainy season. So his body started decomposing. And the dogs were now coming to eat the flesh. And we could not stay at home because the situation was now unbearable. So we moved to go and stay somewhere else. Each and every morning my mother could come and pick the bones and put back and put some stones. During the night, the dogs will come and eat the flesh. So the soldiers for Smith, they came and asked my mother, why are you not burying this person? Then she said, they told us not to bury him. Then they said, if you don't bury him, we are going to come back and shoot the villagers. So the following day, that was in January now, they came and buried him just behind the kitchen. So that is how it happened. The reason why they had to kill him, my father was a farmer. He was also a truck driver. So one of his friends came to him and said, can you please borrow me some maize, some bags of maize? Then he borrowed him about 10 bags of maize. Yeah. He said, I will return them back. When he failed to return them back, then he said he is a sellout. Yes. So those soldiers, when they came, and my mother told them that they said he's a sellout. They took these, they were having the walkie-talkies, those radios. Yes. And they checked at their camp. They said, check behind the door if there is a name, Thomas Chirombe Manuwa. They checked and said, no, there's no such a name. So that's why they said, if you don't bury him, then we are going to come and shoot people also. That man, when those gorillas came, he came with them, and he was hiding.
The men who shot him?
No, the men who betrayed him.
Oh, okay.
He was hiding there. They could go and consult from him, come back. They go and consult from him and come back. And when my father died, he said, don't take back those bags of maize from him. You just tell him to give to the owner. So he in fact wanted the gorillas to kill the cattle that were there in the kraal. He even told them that he has a radio, he has a watch, take all that. So in other words, he didn't want to pay back. He thought that was a way of how he can escape, but it was very unfortunate for us as family members.
Now, being your neighbor, I'm wondering how the relationship was like after this occurrence.
He came and said, I want to pay back those bags of maize. And my mother said, no, go and give the person that you borrowed from, of which the relationship was bad. It was very bad because he could not communicate with us anymore.
It was so said that a neighbor then turned out to be an enemy.
An enemy, yes.
And I'm wondering about the relationship between you as children and the children of that individual. How did it turn out to be when that thing occurred?
Us as children, personally, I don't revenge. I remember in 1990, one of his sons, he visited me here in Bulawayo. And he came to my house and we sat down and we discussed. I don't have that spirit of revenge. So I can say the our relationship with his children is not bad.
Quite a challenging thing that when a neighbor who is supposed to be taking care of you then becomes an enemy, who then becomes a source of destruction. It is so said that they lost their parents in that way. So after the break, we'll continue more on this story. Please stay tuned. Welcome back to the third and final segment of the show, Painful Goodbyes. I'm still with Josh, and he has shared a very painful story on how he lost his dad during the war. And I'm thinking about the time when the body was decomposing and the family was there and you had moved to another home. What were your thoughts and feelings at that time?
It was very painful to us as children to go such an experience, because we had never seen a dead body, especially me. I had never seen someone dead. So it was painful as we could watch the body decomposing and the dogs eating. It was a painful experience, as I've said before.
And also there is a part when you were told that your dad is the one that was shot.
Yes, we were shocked, and we didn't know the reason why. So we had to rush home and go and see what actually happened.
Now, it's been 47 years and it's still painful. What do we learn from that? Because there are people who say, no, it's been a long time, but it's 47 years and it's still painful. So what do we learn from that? What lessons can we give to people?
It has been a long time, but what we can learn is that we should forgive. God has forgiven us, and we should also forgive. Even though it is painful, we have to accept it and forgive. And also, what we learn from that is that if somebody is a hard worker, people usually become jealous of such a person. Because my father was a farmer, he was a truck driver, he was working for himself. Because I remember he used to come home with a truck to collect the vegetables, cabbage, and the chicken that he used to keep to go and sell. So we learned that if someone is a hard worker, people become jealous of him.
Okay. So thinking about the time when, after the loss of your dad, how were you able to adjust to a situation where your dad was no longer there? How were you able to cope with that?
It was difficult to cope up because my mother is the one who was now the head of the family. We were still young, and we were 9 of us. So it was difficult for her. We were rescued by the cattle that he left. Those are the ones which helped us to
Go through school.
to go to school and do other things that needs money. So it was difficult to cope up, and as you know, life is difficult when when the father is not there. Yes, because we were used to get everything from him, but now he was no more there.
There are things that people said that encouraged you, and there are also things that people said which discouraged you at that time. Maybe let's start with the things that people said that really brought hope and encouragement during that loss.
I remember my uncle, the brother to my mother, the one who comes after my mother. He is the one who really encouraged us to hold on, especially to the faith. And he used to come and help us also wherever we cannot be able to do it for ourselves. He used to come and help. So he did a lot of work to help us. And for those who were talking bad about the death of my father, it really hurts us, because some were believing that he was killed because he's a sellout. So after they realized that he was not a sellout, it was shameful to them, but it really hurts us as the children.
Okay. So you spoke about forgiving. How did you transition to a place where you are able to forgive someone who killed your father?
My father, before he died, he said, vengeance is not yours, it's for God. He said, God is the one who is going to revenge, so you as my children, don't revenge.
Okay.
So also taking from the Bible, the Bible says we must not revenge. So we as Christians, we decided not to revenge. We just forgive, but we cannot forget.
Cannot forget, yes.
Yes.
That you are bringing a very important point, that you cannot forget, because some people say you forgive and forget, but you are saying you cannot forget. Maybe you want to explain a bit more on that.
The scars are still there.
The scars are still there.
So we cannot forget.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
so it's difficult to forget. Because I remember when I was talking to my sister recently, last month, she was saying, you are now talking about that painful issue. It really hurts us. So why should you talk about that? So it's difficult to forget.
So it's a very important thing, because some people think that it is not, you are not supposed to forget. And now, what are the lessons that you can give in your story, that you can give to those who are watching, and maybe your final words?
What we can learn from what happened is we should always be united as people in the community. Let us not be jealous of one another, because if somebody is doing his work, we must support, not be jealous and try to bring down somebody.
Thank you very much. There you have it, friends. The issue of jealousy then took our father, and we want to thank you, Josh, for the time that you spent with us. For me, Josh, and the crew behind the scenes, it's a wrap.